For more on the G20 summit, I'm joined from Brisbane by Tim Harcourt. He's an author, an economist, and an international business teacher. He's also a fellow at the Australian School of Business at the University of New South Wales. Thank you for making time for us.
G'day. Nice to be with you. Thank you.
Tim, aside from the political headlines that were not related to the global economy, how would you say the summit stacked up to the ones in the past?
Well, it's sort of, these G20 summits are sort of like the Olympics with suits on. They want to be bigger and better every year, despite the fact there's no athletics going on. And you'd probably say in terms of growth, in terms of climate change commitments, in terms of infrastructure commitments, most leaders would come away pretty satisfied from the summit in Brisbane.
Tim, as you know, they managed to talk about Ukraine a lot, Ebola, and the fight against ISIL. Despite all of this, the Prime Minister, Tony Babbitt, actually, he wanted to keep the focus on the economy. Still, what would you say was the biggest takeaway this year? Was it the economic plan?
Well, probably for the first time, you know, we asked world leaders to make commitments in Brisbane instead of at home in Buenos Aires or Berlin or elsewhere. So it's a big commitment to come to Brisbane, to come to Australia and make certain fiscal commitments. And the 2% plus growth plan is sort of quite historically, is quite uniquely historic when you think about commitments that leaders make internationally. And now, you know, of course, Tony Abbott can announce the China Free Trade Agreement with Xi Jinping today, straight after the G20.
Tim, the G20 leaders released the final communique called the Brisbane Action Plan. Overall, it contains a package, as you know, of more than 800 reforms, which, if put in place, is expected to lead to a 2.1% increase in global growth, we're told. As an economist, is this realistic?
Well, you'd say it's ambitious, particularly given recent issues in Europe, even Germany, even though the view is that the US and Asia, particularly China, are doing a lot better than anticipated. So, look, it's a big call, but it's important that these economic institutions under the G20 come together. We're moving away from the Bretton Woods sort of North Atlantic idea of them ruling the world. We now have China, we have Brazil, we have India, we have South Africa, we have other nations playing a role, and Australia's very proud to host a change in the guard in terms of international economic architecture.
There's a lot of planning leading up to this two-day summit. Was this a big win for Australia?
Oh, no doubt about it. And Australia and South Korea are very proud of the fact that they came up with the APEC concept, which of course met in Beijing last week. And also the G20 was an invention of South Korea and Australia after the Asian financial crisis and after the subprime. So it's a good example of governments cooperating around the Asia-Pacific for a better governed world economy in terms of economic cooperation.
Tim Harcourt, thank you so much for your time.